I think that most people would agree that one of the more human elements of our species is our sense of ethics, that we have seemingly a code within our heads that guides us and helps us to make decisions about right and wrong. We witness the fact that various human cultures have different versions of these ethical codes, but for the most part they basically follow a similar pattern of basically observation, judgment, followed by action. And there seems to be functions within our brain that allow us to regulate how we respond based on these codes. So ethics is a very human quality. I was surprised and in many ways delighted to read about the research going on at Georgia Tech in the United States by Ronald Arkin with regard to, no, I'm not, let me preface this, I'm not rejoiced or excited at all about warfare and about killing or about weapons of mass destruction or machines that are involved in any of that. But I'm very excited about what I believe is the future of our species, which will reside somewhere in the realm of technology. And I think that it will be in many ways our salvation and our liberation from the constraints that biology presses upon us. So that's when I'm expressing my excitement, that's what I'm excited about. I'm not excited at all about warfare. Anyway, at the Georgia Tech, they're working on the next generation of robot brains, basically software that will be applied on the battlefield. We already know that robots are beginning to make their appearance in both civilian and military situations. Police and various branches of military are using robots more and more to go venture where humans should, to take the risk to remove risk from human combatants and apply that to machines. And that's only going to steadily progress. We're going to see a movement from armed drones and surveillance systems to more active, engaged robots that will be involved in things. And I was reading today about the research going on in terms of the software needed to give these robots the capability to be more autonomous, to make the judgments, to make decisions on their own about when and whom they will fire upon. And fascinating stuff. This was in National Geographic, by the way, in a recent issue. And the thing that they led off with in this article was about how one of the great problems that we face with human combatants is that we have our emotions that are involved. They cited instances of humans finishing off combatants who were wounded out of anger and frustration or retaliation. Killing in situations where the laws of war would require otherwise. To take a prisoner, for example, or cases where exerting too much influence will cause collateral damage and death. And humans are even though we are armed with our ethical capabilities, we are also well equipped with emotions, which can lead us to overreact or make bad judgments. So these robots are going to be, one of the goals of the designers will be to give them the capability to think and act in ways that are similar to humans, but without the emotional overkill. No pun intended. And they used two words there's two words that was introduced from the research at Georgia Tech that got my attention. One was we'll have to look it up. I had to write it down. Ethical governor and ethical adapter. Ethical governor and ethical adapter. They're actually using the words ethics as related to software programming for robots. An ethical governor is it's not really a device, it's really a software package that basically gives the robot the ability to understand the rules of engagement and the laws of war, so that in assessing a situation it can make decisions about the right course of action. So basically consider it its repertoire, its catalog of appropriate or of experience related to how one would behave in a period of warfare, how to identify combatants from civilians, and to basically make a decision when to engage. very fascinating, and it takes quite a bit of information to give a robot that kind of a vast understanding. But couple that with the processing power of a robot, the ability to calculate things quickly, and to not be weighed down with the moral elements, or maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it needs more of the moral element, or not the moral elements, because this is morality. This is the moral element right here. I'm talking about the emotional response, the emotional overreaction. But maybe we need that. That's another subject though. So that's the ethical governor, is basically the library of information, the catalog of rules and laws and past precedent for engagement that allows the robot to make a decision who and when to fire upon. The next one is the ethical adapter, and the ethical adapter basically then allows the robot to ascertain what level of engagement to use, whether to use a small weapon system or to go all out with the biggest guns it's got. And it does this in order to avoid, as I said earlier, avoid collateral damage, and to basically limit the force to the area that it needs to be applied to. Now, so these make sense. I mean, if you're going to have a robot that is autonomously roaming a battlefield flying above, or roaming on the battlefield, and able to fight nearly at will, you want it to be armed with some sort of ethical programming. Ethical programming, fascinating. So that leads into the point that I want to make. Here we are in 2011, nearly 2012. Robots are still robots. They're still tin cans from basically with plastered on eyeballs that elicit feelings of either cuteness if you're dealing with many of the Japanese toy bots, or revulsion if you're dealing with some of the efforts such as at Osaka University that are being done to make human-like robots that fall right into the depths of the uncanny valley. Here we are at that point though, but we are already beginning to use words such as ethics with regard to the programming for these robots. It's only a matter of time before, and it was expressed very clearly in other parts of this article about how the efforts, especially by the Japanese, are being made to decrease the gap between the human and the non-human, until the point may be reached that we can't tell the difference. What an incredible venture. I almost want to say what a worthy venture, but I'm afraid to say that because it's a bit scary, even for me who believes that our future resides with the robots. But anyway, there we go. The ethics have already begun to enter the play of words for those seeking out programming for more advanced robotic systems. To me, it's only a matter of time before they not only look like us in part, but in fact, and begin to behave, act, and think like us, and then only beyond that step to outthink us and possibly to become our successors. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Watch out for those autonomous bots on the field. Take care.